Hi, this is Dr. Jeff Engelhardt, and I'd like to welcome you to PHI 231, Introduction to Philosophy. The purpose of this video is to introduce you to the course and its Moodle page. I'll take you through the toolbar on the right side of the screen, through the introductory materials at the top center of this page, through the navigation tools on the left, and through the weekly content page for week 1. First, the quick links on the page's right-hand side. At the top, you can find the academic calendar. At the top of this page, you see there are tabs for different course sequences. Be sure to note when our class is out of session. If you scroll down, you'll see, for instance, you can select winter 2014, spring 2014. Our class is out of session March 3rd to 9th. You can return to the main course page simply by closing this window. At eServices, you can log in with your username and password to access account information and registration information. And again, you can return to your course web page by closing that window. At Student Services, the website has available a wide variety of resources concerning almost every aspect of your education at JCC. You can find a schedule of courses, information about financial aid, the student handbook, and so on. I encourage you to familiarize yourself with what's available here. Of course, you can also access the student handbook from our main course page. If you click on the handbook, you can read it right online. Oops. You can find in here lots of helpful information. For instance, if you go to page 27, you can find out about childcare at JCC Central Campus. On page 7, you can find the criteria for the Dean's List. You can exit this viewer just by pushing Escape. Click on the course catalog to find information for courses for the present and coming academic years. Here's the 2013-2014 catalog. If we scroll down a bit, you can see there's also library services. You can use the library services link for further research on philosophical topics that interest you, for help with research, or just for browsing. If you click on Find Articles, you'll see a list of useful databases. If you're on campus, you can access JSTOR. JSTOR looks like this. JSTOR offers extensive access to contemporary philosophical journals. I use it several times a week for my own research. You can search here for the title of an article, for a subject area, or for an author. I encourage you to make yourself familiar with the Tech Solutions Center as well, just in case you have trouble with the course website, or for instance, you forget your login password. You can contact Information Technology Services. At Student Resources, you'll find much helpful information concerning, for instance, the academic calendar and drop withdrawal dates for each semester. Be sure to familiarize yourself with the academic honesty policy if you haven't already. You can find it here. I expect you to follow the policy when writing papers for this course. The Student Ombudsman link is particularly useful if you're unsure how to resolve some problem you might have as a student. As you can see, the Ombudsman's Office can help you with both interpersonal issues for example, if you have a dispute with a professor or another student, with procedural issues, with financial issues, and much more. Please think of the Ombudsman's Office if you find yourself distressed with something relevant to this course. The Student Resource Center is a very valuable resource. They'll help you find tutoring and transportation assistance. And for students with disabilities, they'll ensure that you have equal access to all of JCC's programs and facilities. Now that we're familiar with some of the toolbar, I'd like to go over this information at the top center of the page. I can consider this sort of introductory information for the course. Let me first show you the Start Here page. It has a brief overview of the course, a bit about me, including that picture. That's me. Hi. And in this last part here, with the course site, I try to give you a sense of how I'll be using the website to teach and how I'd like you to use the site to learn. Note in particular that I recommend that you read the lectures before and after completing the readings. Please note also, you can find my email address here. From this page, you can return to the course webpage, the main page, by clicking this link here. Next, I'd like you to look at the syllabus. Clicking here will download the document to your computer. Please read through the syllabus completely. You can find my office hours and my contact information. Here are my office hours. And my contact information on this first page. You can find remarks on the course objectives and outcomes on page 2. Here are the objectives and outcomes, as well as an overview of the components that determine your grade. Here are those components. Textbook information is on page 3. Be sure that you have the right text. On pages 4 and 5, you'll find policies about late work, attendance, failure, and academic honesty. Please read the policy on academic honesty carefully, as I mentioned before. On page 6, please find information about accessibility and technical support. Again, please read through the syllabus carefully and completely. Before we go to turn to the content down the center of this page, I'd like to show you the activities bar here on the left for navigating some of the course content. You can see that there are links here to each of the you can see above this that there are links to each week of the course. We'll review the weekly course pages in a moment, but first I'd like to direct your attention to these activities bar. Here you'll find links to the course content divided up into 4 categories: assignments, forums, quizzes, and resources. I'm sure you can guess what you'll find by clicking on each of those, but it'll be helpful for us to navigate through them anyway. Note that the assignments listed on the assignments page are not all the assignments in the course. There's also a logic quiz, and you must post to the discussion board most weeks. You can see here, however, the major assignments, the 4 papers. Note that each paper is to be turned in by 11:55 p.m. on the due date. Papers will not be accepted after 11:55 p.m. You can find out more about each assignment by clicking on the appropriate link. You can return to the activities just by scrolling down from any page in the course. Next, I'd like to show you the forums. You can find all the discussion post assignments by clicking on forums. The information here is organized by week, and it includes deadlines and guidelines. Click on Quizzes to find the list of the quizzes in the course. As you can see, we have only one quiz, the logic quiz. Note that it's within a few weeks, January 20th to 26th. You'll read the section of the text dedicated to logic, and then you'll have to take the quiz. Note that the quiz won't show up as completed in my assignment book until you've earned a perfect score. Finally, let's look through the course resources. You'll find the course's online resources organized by week, the overview for each week and all the lectures. If you prefer to have these materials in hard copy, you might come to this page to print them out. You can also look through here to get a sense for what we'll be reading and what we'll be talking about as we go through. Now let's return to the main course page, and I'd like to introduce you to the weekly sites, the pages for each week. Down the middle of the screen, you can see that there are links to pages containing the resources and assignments for each week of the course, along with a brief description of each week's course objectives. Right up to the end of the course. If you click on a week, you'll see that each week is organized in basically the same way. There's an overview, discussions, and lectures, and if there were an assignment for this week, it would appear here as well. For each week, I've written an overview. If you click on this overview, you'll see that it's often very substantive. Please read each week's overview before starting on that week's resources and assignments. You'll see that in many overviews, I offer an introduction to the week's content. I review the assignments for the week, and I specify any special instructions for those assignments. For this first week, for instance, you'll see that I articulate some guidelines I'd like you to follow when posting to the course discussions. Here they are. In later weeks, overviews outline how I'd like you to structure arguments, how I want your response posts written, and so on. It's important to read these overviews. After you've read the overview, you can return to the weekly page by scrolling up and clicking on the link that indicates the relevant week. You'll see that the other links in each week take you to assignments like discussion boards and quizzes. Here's the discussion board. As well as MS Word documents for each of the course lectures. Here are the documents. Notice that if you click on a lecture, it'll download to your computer. These boxes to the right will track your progress as you work through each week. You can return to the main course page by clicking on the link at the bottom. Return to main course page. I hope you found this walkthrough helpful. Reading and writing philosophy can be very demanding, and many in their first philosophy class find it disorienting as a subject of academic study. Be sure to make use of all the available resources and to keep up with all the course assignments. I wish you good luck in this course.